Hello and welcome to Wargame Wednesday, episode 10. This week we are playing Infinity for the first time, or actually the second time, but the first time we can actually make a useful video of for Wargame Wednesday.
Yeah, last week's did pen.
Yeah, our first game lasted about 6 minutes. It didn't go well.
Yeah.
So,
and we actually didn't talk about anything we did.
yeah, so
That's
it was
more important.
Yeah, that was not good. So this week we're trying it again. And the scenario for this week is a bunker infiltration mission. So the attacker is G in this case, and the deployment zone, or the board size is the size of this patterned sheet we have on the bottom. So it's 4 feet by some width that we're not sure what it is. And he's deployed 12 inches in with his various units. He's playing the Yangji faction from...
Uzi or something.
Or is it
Young
Eugene? Eugene, sorry.
34 inches across.
Okay, yeah. He's playing the Eugene. And so over on the right side of his deployment zone, he has 3 models together, which are...
Okay, these are Zanshis.
Okay. And...
They're like the basic frontline guys.
Yep. And that dude over there is?
Celestial Guard.
Okay, and...
Can you pan to them?
Yeah, I'm panning, slowly panning, still panning. I found them!
Okay, that's a Damaru and that's Shang-Zi Invincible. I need to learn how to speak fake Asian or whatever this is.
Yeah, I know. And so, as you can see, the terrain is heavily concentrated in the area around the bunker. This is both to represent the realism of kind of a fortified military installation to some extent, and also to provide cover for both sides as the attackers attempt to infiltrate the base. Cover is very important in Infinity. Infinity is a skirmish-sized game. With these starter sets, there's 6 models per side, and as a general rule of thumb, you should not have a length of more than 18 inches of clear firing line in any direction on an Infinity board.
Obviously, the back edge does not count.
Yeah. And the back edge doesn't really count in this case because we piled up the terrain more so around the base because it's an infiltration mission, and so it was G deemed it was less likely that too many attacks would be made on his forces before they reached the back line to attempt to infiltrate this area. So my objective here is to prevent G from being able to get a model up to the door of this bunker,
which is that,
for a full turn. If he manages to get a model in front of that door and that model stays alive for a full turn, it enters the bunker and wins, and that is the end of the game. Otherwise, the game will last 5 turns.
Yeah.
So my deployment is I've got...
You should go talk. Yeah.
Yep. I've got a mobile brigada over here. Yeah, this camera's got good zoom. I have a mobile brigada over there, and then I have my whatever that model's called. Hold on a second. Let me just go look up the sheet.
Mobile brigada.
Yep.
There's a Securitat over here.
Okay, that's a Securitat.
You know who these guys are?
And then I have 3 Algulasils. I have 3 Algulasils, which are the frontline troops for the nomads that are around there.
Template.
And then I have a camo template there.
Which could be anything.
Or it could be anything. We know what it is because we've seen the list. Right.
It's the starter kit.
Under normal circumstances, you do not see an opponent's list when you before playing.
Oh, I'm glad.
Good job. Way to bump the camera.
Okay.
Way to contribute.
Bunting is the best thing ever. It's softball we're playing.
Yeah, exactly. So, and normally you would not know what a camouflage template was in an opponent's list until it was revealed. The camouflage mechanics in this game are very interesting because you get to have a base that is essentially just a marker for a camouflaged troop, and until such time as your opponent is able to use actions or automatic reaction orders to identify them, you will not be able to see, you won't know what it is, and you can't do anything to it.
If that thing had a sniper rifle, the game would be over.
One of the most interesting things about this game is that when your opponents do anything within your line of sight, you can issue automatic reaction orders to your models that are in line of sight of an action taken by an opposing model. Generally, this only applies to the first action out of the 2 actions they can take on their activation with each order. And so this automatic reaction order can include moving or it can include firing at the model. So in this game, both players are active during both sides of the game turn.
No one gets bored.
Right. Anything else major? Oh yes, you get a number of orders for your side equal to the number of models you have,
Yeah.
but orders can be spent as you see fit.
That's an
so you
order.
can spend orders on, you can spend, if you have 6 orders for your list, you can actually spend all 6 on the same model to get it to act 6 times in your turn. You do not
Yeah.
have to spend orders on any particular model.
That guy just gets all pissed off and
Right, and he's just like,
Pulls a
"Rah!"
pulls a ramble.
Yeah, he's just like, that's it.
Alright, so we're gonna play the first turn and we'll come back at the end, unless something ridiculously hilarious happens immediately.
Which is feasible, but unlikely.
Then we'll just film that.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, here we are at the conclusion of turn 1. I ended up winning the initiative roll to activate first.
To great effect.
Yes, I revealed my infiltrated Zero, who you see standing on his side there. Right, and attempted to shoot the 2 models that G had on the left side of his deployment zone. From breaking camo and having a covered position, I was only taking a -3 to my shooting, and the model I shot at would not be able to react until it survived being shot at. And
the Damaru has a shotgun, so
yeah,
theoretically shouldn't have been able to do anything.
So I was going to spend all of my orders on the first turn shooting at these 2 guys, because from the covered position I had behind that dumpster, the rest of his forces were not able to react to my actions. So I was planning to just sit there and spend 6 actions shooting at these 2 models. As it turns out, even though I was only taking a -3 to my shots, rolling 3 dice each time, I only got to use 2 orders until one of his models got lucky, and the shotgun managed to render my Zero unconscious while having accomplished absolutely dick all.
Yeah.
So that went well.
It's pretty funny.
I used the remainder of my orders to move up
the
my
target
models
special?
over there into firing positions, while G on his turn moved up his models over here on this side, except for that one, moved up to there to the stairs, and on this side he moved into these positions. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna play out the second turn, and we're gonna see where we're in, what situation we're in at the end of that turn.
Yep.
We'll be back then. So here we are at the end of turn 2 of our game of Infinity. G elected.
Which Lorenzo was not enjoying at all.
Well, no, but that's okay. I'm not supposed to enjoy war games. I managed to use my mobile brigada to get on top of this hospital painted crate in a position to shoot at his whatever that samurai dude is. What's
Damaru.
No.
Shang-Chi Invincible.
Shang-Chi Invincible, and succeeded in taking 1 wound for my trouble, but also succeeded in actually rendering his Invincible unconscious.
He's not invincible, dude.
No, clearly. My mobile brigada was positioned afterwards over here to deny this movement avenue to his Domaru, because if his Domaru would have moved around this gray crate it was hiding behind, it would have gotten flamed in the face with no cover. So it didn't want to do that.
So I tried to climb a crate.
Right, and failed with his impetuous order. And he moved 2 of his regular dudes, whose names I don't remember, up on top of this crate. And I lost all 3 of these guys to his shooting because they failed all of their AROs for shooting back.
And their cover didn't help them
No.
at all.
Yeah, they failed all their AOROs
Yeah,
and all their armor rolls. So they all died. So I have 2 models left, and he still has 5.
4.
Or 4.
1,
no.
2, 3, 4, 5.
No, 5. He still has 5 models left. We'll be back at the end of turn 3, and we'll see what I've managed to come up with to try and stay alive. Okay, here we are at the end of the very brief turn 3. I, using my 2 orders, used them to get my mobile brigada into the same cover as my Securitate, or Securitate.
Securitate.
The Securitate.
That is
And he used his orders to get his Domaru and one of his regular troops up there, and one of them has suppression fire. Suppression fire is a long skill that you can use with one of your full orders to allow a model to fire its full number of shots with its weapon during ARO shooting actions. He also left these two models where they were and gave them both suppression fire orders as well. So that he's pretty much.
I was gonna jump down with them, but then I was like, never mind. These guys have one wound, and if I fail, they die.
Yeah, which would be sort of bad.
Yeah.
So right now, essentially, with this crate in the center, this tunnel here is essentially the only way to the door. And so I have these models set up to be able to fire at any model that actually enters the final leg to get into contact with the door of the bunker. So turn 4 will probably be, the first half of my half of it will probably be fairly quick, but we'll see what happens at the end of the turn.
Back to win.
Well, it looked like you had a pretty good chance with, you know, three quarter to 4/6 of my army dead.
Yeah, but suppression fire. Where am I gonna go?
Yeah, suppression fire is a pretty good order, actually.
Well, yeah.
So here we are at the end of turn 3.
You need to kill the guy before he gets to do that.
Yeah. Here we are at the end of turn 3. As you can see, my conveniently and cunningly placed Securitat and Mobile Brigada are still there, whereas this area is somewhat littered with bodies. I actually don't think you can see some of them, so I'm going to stop.
You'll see them in the pictures.
Yeah, yeah.
They're dead. I just took a picture of them.
Hold on one second.
We'll play the last turn if you really want.
Well, yeah, I guess we should. We don't end up with not enough video like last time. So, continuing from where we left off.
Working Wednesday ever. There's no shit that I need to cut out.
Yeah, it's awesome. So, his Domaru attempted to move forward and died from the suppression fire AROs on those two models. And then one of his regular dudes moved up and died from the suppression fire on those two models.
One guy died jumping off a box.
Yeah, and then one guy died jumping off here to try and get down there, and the other one got down there but is now currently stuck behind there. So now we're down to 2 models each left alive,
yeah,
and 2 orders each. Like, yeah, but one of his is like back here just chilling, going, "Hey, what's up?"
He's a lieutenant. He's like, "You guys are stupid."
Yeah. He's like, "This was a dumb idea. My superiors don't realize the kind of base they're asking me to assault." I think this game is still more proof that we need to work on being slightly more cooperative in our terrain deployment, because this terrain deployment legitimately made things very difficult for the attacker.
Well, no, I think that's the point, though. It's supposed to be difficult.
Right.
This is a very hard game to win.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
It's designed to be hard to win. It's like tactical, but in this situation, now, because we're playing starter kits,
yeah.
Like, your guys are crazy. This chick's got crazy ammo. That guy's invisible. My guys are shit.
Oh, yeah. Incidentally, we also noted that my Zero should not actually have died to the shotgun, because the shotgun uses a template.
We learned how shotguns work.
It uses a template, so he couldn't have hit that far.
Hold on, I just want to point something out here. And I know, like, we promised that we wouldn't have the camera do nothing, but there's something we need to go over first.
Yeah.
When you're using a gun in this game, it's not like 40K where you look stat line and go, okay, this gun rolls this to hit, and then this to wound, and its armor penetration is this. In this game, you need to learn how range works, what type of gun you're using, how that gun shoots, what ammunition the gun has.
Yeah, I mean, to be totally fair, it's very confusing because there's range bands listed that are way beyond the range of the template, so I don't understand how a template weapon can fire at range 16 when the template's not
16.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense to me. I'm really confused about that.
There's a lot that you have to, and even the thing, like, I read the shotgun rules, and it's a direct template weapon. It is. That's a fucking template.
Yeah.
That's the one you use for flamethrowers. So you would think, playing 40K, that if the flamethrower template is this, then when you use that for a shotgun, it would operate the same way. But it doesn't. Shotguns, you need to roll the BS to hit, where the flamethrower you don't. And then if you don't hit with your BS, you don't actually even get to place the template with a shotgun.
Yeah.
Whereas with a flamethrower, you don't even roll.
Yeah.
So
that's
two
bizarre.
weapons use the exact same template, but they play completely differently, and you need to know that.
Because Infinity's complicated.
Oh, fuck.
But it's awesome. I have to say, I actually really like this game.
It's gonna just
but
take
it's
us
like
6
it's going to
months
take
to-
us a while to get this down pat. So we'll be back at the end of turn 4 to see what
How
happened.
Lorenzo wins.
Okay, here we are at the conclusion of turn 4, I think this was, and what has turned out to be the end of the game. G moved...
No, it was the end of turn 5.
Oh, end of turn 5.
We got to the end of the game.
Okay. And G attempted to move up another one of his units that I shot and rendered unconscious, and I used my other order to kill one of his unconscious units to gain a victory point victory by 1 model. So I managed. I'm actually quite impressed that with just these 2 models correctly positioned and used effectively, I was able to prevent him from getting to the bunker. So,
Yeah, no,
because
you
like
don't
in the
have
early part of the
grenades,
game,
you don't have sniper
yeah, in the
rifles, nothing
and
really-
oh, and to correct, we
were wrong
misunderstood.
again.
Yeah, we were wrong again about the shotgun rules. As it turns out, the way it works is when you hit when you roll ballistic skill and hit a model using a shotgun, you place the small teardrop template touching the model that you hit, so that you can hit additional models. So the range of the shotgun was in fact sufficient to be able to shoot at the 0 on top. We just failed to place the template in reaction to it. And G's getting loud text message notifications while we're filming video because he's a jackass.
I don't know
Frankly,
why the fuck it's on.
that's all right. So yes, so
Yeah, we were way wrong.
there's I have 2 models left alive, and G has 1 model back here chilling, the lieutenant, who's like reporting to base. Mission failed. Mission failed.
You guys are dumb.
Yeah.
You didn't give us any grenades. Fucking.
Actually, you know what? You should have used smoke grenades.
You don't have those.
What do you mean?
I'm pretty sure you
Every model has smoke
really? I
grenades.
thought you had
You
to.
should have used smoke grenades to try and create cover you could run through to get to the bunker door. You still would have got shot standing in front of the bunker door. However, at least you would have had a chance.
I don't even know how smoke grenades work. See, there you go.
Yeah.
This isn't really a bad weapon. It's more of like a how to not play Infinity.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. We're gonna keep playing Infinity until we screw up less and less. And
that's the goal, right?
yeah, the goal, and eventually become at least moderately, not utterly terrible at it. That's what we consider a minimum standard. At the
You know
very
what?
least.
Hold on a second. Keep the camera on. I just want to
Yeah.
show people something. I'm just going to show you the table of contents so you can see how retarded the rules in this game are. Okay, so are you filming?
Yeah, I'm filming.
So this, like from page 1 basically, all the way to page 106 is just fluff about guys you can take and factions, and so there's like 100 and something pages of fluff. Okay, then from page 106 all the way to the end, I guess, which would be page 185, that's rules. Now let's just flip to the rules page. Yeah, that's the size of the font, kids.
Yeah,
This is not 40K.
No. Yeah, the rules are very complex for this game, but that's good though.
It's like
because it
D&D
allows
war
it
game.
allows a lot of tactical depth to this game. I like a lot of the additional realism that's here in terms of a number of remaining troops being able to defend a position through superior
Positioning.
superior
Can't do that.
positioning.
Can't do
Because
that in
essentially
40K.
the way the terrain worked out by positioning these 2 models here, he was not able to shoot at them unless he crossed into this killing zone that led to the bunker door. That essentially allowed me to position them in a quasi-Overwatch position. In fact, with the suppression fire order, it was effectively in a complete Overwatch position.
It was Overwatch.
Essentially trying, because he can only spend 1 order at a time, he can only try to move 1 model at a time into the firing line, at which point I got full shots with both of those models in my AROs.
You can't, like, what's it called when you do that in 40K where you have torrent of wounds or some crap? Or you have so many guys that doesn't matter if the guy shoots
Yeah,
you,
right,
you're gonna kill
exactly.
2
When you're
guys.
moving units, it's like, it doesn't matter because as long as some of them are alive next turn when you get to activate again, you can run them to the front of the bunker.
Yeah.
But in this case, because it's an individual model and 1 model at a time was moving into the killing zone
You can't
by
really do
necessity, you ended up getting pretty much fucked.
Unless you have a medic.
Yeah. You just gotta make sure you don't put the medic in a position to get shot.
Get shot by guys in cover. You know how many times I hear about that? It kills me. I read lots of Infinity Batreps. That happens a lot.
Yeah. Be careful with your medics, kids. Per side, and as a general rule of thumb, you should not have a length of more than 18 inches of clear firing line in any direction on an infinity board.
Obviously, the back edge does not count.
Yeah. And the back edge doesn't really count in this case because we piled up the terrain more so around the base because it's an infiltration mission, and so it was G deemed it was less likely that too many attacks would be made on his forces before they reached the back line to attempt to infiltrate this area. So my objective here is to prevent G from being able to get a model up to the door of this bunker,
Which is that?
for a full turn. If he manages to get a model in front of that door and that model stays alive for a full turn, it enters the bunker and wins. And that is the end of the game. Otherwise, the game will last 5 turns.
Yeah.
So, my deployment is, I've got...
You should go talk. Yeah.
Yep.
Move the
I've
camera.
got a mobile brigada
Can you see it?
over here. Yeah, this camera's got good zoom. I have a mobile brigada over there, and then I have my whatever that model's called. Hold on a second. Let me just go
Okay,
look
I'll
up
do
this
it.
sheet.
Mobile Brigada.
Yep.
There's a Securitat over here.
Okay, that's a Securitat.
You know who these guys are
And then I
called?
have
You
3
pronounce it better than me.
Algulacils. I have 3 Algulacils, which are the... Okay, and...
Can you pan to them?
Yeah, I'm panning, slowly panning, still panning. I found them!
Okay. That's a Damaru, and that's Shang-Zi Invincible. I need to learn how to speak fake Asian, or whatever this is.
Yeah, I know. And so, as you can see, the terrain is heavily concentrated in the area around the bunker. This is both to represent the realism of kind of a fortified military installation to some extent, and also to provide cover for both sides as the attackers attempt to infiltrate the base. Cover is very important in Infinity. Infinity is a skirmish-sized game. With these starter sets, there's 6 models. So the attacker is G in this case, and the deployment zone, or the board size is the size of this patterned sheet we have on the bottom. So it's 4 feet by some width that we're not sure what it is. And he's deployed 12 inches in with his various units. He's playing the Yangji faction from...
Uzi or something.
Or is it
Young
Yujin?
Jin.
Yujin, sorry.
34 inches across.
Okay, yeah. He's playing the Yujin, and so over on the right side of his deployment zone, he has
You want me to
3 models together, which are...
These are Zanshis.
Okay.
They're
And...
like the basic frontline guys.
Yep. And that dude over there
That's
is...
Celestial Guard.
Hello and welcome to Wargame Wednesday, episode 10. This week we are playing Infinity for the first time, or actually the second time, but the first time we can actually make a useful video of for Wargame Wednesday.
Yeah, last week's didn't pan out.
Yeah, our first game lasted about 6 minutes. It didn't go well.
Yeah.
So,
And we actually didn't talk about anything we did.
yeah, so it
That's
was
more
kind of,
important.
yeah, that was not good. So this week we're trying it again, and the scenario for this week is a bunker infiltration mission.